Hi, I'm Solomon Goldstein-Rose, and I'm running for state representative because our state government is moving too slowly to address the crucial issues facing our community. Our towns are largely defined by education, our K-12 schools and our colleges, and yet the state legislature is doing very little to address the system-level issues facing our communities and our schools. Our teachers' and principals' hands are being tied, testing is driving our curriculum, and we struggle each year for the basic funding to fund our crucial programs. UMass drives so much of our economy, and yet is underfunded by the state. Similarly, climate change is the most urgent issue of our time, and certainly the most crucial issue facing my generation. And yet the state legislature is all but ignoring the problem. Climate change threatens agriculture in Western Mass. It threatens our coastal Boston economy that generates the revenue to fund UMass, and it threatens public health statewide. And yet Massachusetts could become carbon neutral, and we would still be hurt by the full impacts of climate change unless we solve it globally. Our state is uniquely positioned to set a precedent for national legislation by putting a price on carbon pollution. Our state is uniquely positioned to invent the new clean energy technologies that we can patent and manufacture here and sell around the world to provide energy cheaper than fossil fuels. That's an economic development proposal for Massachusetts. That's a true solution to climate change. I'm 22 years old, so I know I don't have nearly as much life experience as any of the other candidates, but I am the only one that has led a statewide legislative campaign. I have worked in local, state, and federal government, and I'm one of 2 or 3 of the 6 of us that has written state legislation. I grew up in Amherst. I attended Fort River Arms ARHS. Ellen's story got me into politics when I was 12. I served on the Amherst Regional School Committee when I was 18. And I recently graduated from college with degrees in engineering and public policy, having worked in the White House and Congress. I know how to move bills forward in the legislature. What makes me different from the other candidates, who are wonderful people in this race, is that I will not only support the right bills, as all of us would, but I will be dedicated to forming coalitions of legislators, working through the legislative system to get the bolder legislation we need to be on the agenda and to be passed. I'm honored to have the endorsement of many local educators as well as other community leaders who share this vision. You can check out the full list of supporters at solomonforrep.org/supporters. They believe in this vision of system change, both in the short and long term, and I hope you will too. What I bring is an abundance of energy and a commitment to getting specific steps in the short term and bolder systemic change over time. I will recruit other young candidates so that we build up a cohort of new leaders. I will learn from my legislative colleagues and help them to accomplish their priorities so that we can pull together many people's visions in the service of getting the bigger picture things done. And most of all, I will learn from you. During the course of this campaign, I've already met with countless teachers, principals, business people, activists, and other community leaders, and not just gotten input on local issues, but fleshed out specific, practical ideas for how the state legislature can better serve our community. When I was on the regional school committee, I did a similar thing, making it my job to reach out to ARHS clubs like People of Color United, the GSA, and get their input on things that no other school committee member has asked for their input on. If you entrust me with representing this district, I will eagerly continue to seek input from all members of our towns. On a somewhat related note, Amherst is the youngest town in Massachusetts. This district has almost half of our registered voters, 18 to 29-year-olds, and 18 to 29-year-olds statewide are 20% of the population. And yet we're only 2% of the legislature, and half of those are Republicans. Nationally, we also see Republicans being overwhelmingly the young legislators. We've got this great generation of older political leaders who are very progressive and have been very successful, and we don't have the new generation coming up. So this is a community can make itself a leader by starting to create that new generation of political leaders. This election is an opportunity for us to say we want the state level support and reform that is necessary for our community. We want to start changes that go beyond ourselves and beyond business as usual. Please check out solomonforrep.org and join this movement for system change. I hope to have your vote on Thursday, September 8th. Thank you so much for being engaged with this.